I did want to take a minute out of the stream to say congratulations to Warhorse Studios for 2 million copies sold for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 in the first week. And I've seen everybody talking about on social media how the first game took a year to sell 2 million copies, and the second game has sold 2 million copies in just right out of the gates, right? That's very impressive for a fledgling studio who is on their second product. We were talking about this morning a little bit too, about the fact that if you look at the amount of people that are streaming this game right now, um, just on Twitch, as of this morning anyway, there was like over 3,000 people streaming just on Twitch. I have no idea how many are also streaming on YouTube. But we were having a discussion the other day about the fact that they have, like, the first game was a game for fans, right? Like, you had to be a fan of that, like, hardcore style, and the first game was super janky, like, when it first launched, and they had to do a lot of work to patch it up and get it to a reasonably good state. But the first game was still only ever a sort of niche product because, first and foremost, it's not a fantasy game. So it's not a game that's going to draw in your traditional RPG crowd because it's not going to factor into any of those categories. It doesn't have magic, it doesn't have classes, it doesn't have any of the things that are hallmarks of RPGs. But yet, um, it is still a deep um, sort of medieval life sim, medieval RPG, historical RPG. There's many ways to frame it, even if it's not your traditional fantasy RPG. So, 2 million copies sold. There are a boatload of people streaming this game right now. Um, and it shows you that the first game did not only a good enough job that it overcame its jankiness to get people interested in it, but also I would say I want to give a shout out to uh, Toby and everybody who is on the marketing and publicity team. Because I would say that one of the reasons Larian Studios did such a good job with Baldur's Gate 3 is because of how they managed their marketing campaign in terms of constantly putting stuff out there, doing development live streams, and etc. And what Warhorse did with the live action series, I felt was incredibly well done and just a brilliant marketing move to take Henry and Hans and put them into real life Gutenberg and into real life scenarios. Like with the one they did, I think it was the second one they did with the weapons, where they went in with the actor Adrian Boucher and did that one as well. So kudos to the marketing team, kudos to the publicity team for putting all that together and really getting into the. It really that went a long way to showing us that the people at Warhorse are just gamers. They're just gamers like us. It's not a bunch of corporate head speak. It's just gamers who love what they're doing. All of those guys have been with the studio since it was founded, essentially, although they did expand their team a lot for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. But it just goes to show you that if you build a good product, it will sell. Now, some people have said, well, 2 million copies is nothing. Cyberpunk 2077 sold 30 million copies, right? Okay, but CD Projekt Red has also made many more games and had many more years of building up their reputation. The same thing with Larian Studios. The last time we looked at Baldur's Gate 3, it had sold northwards of 15 million copies. Larian Studios has been making games for much longer than Kingdom Come Deliverance, than Warhorse Studios has been, and they've had a lot more time to build up their franchise. This is the second title for Warhorse. Their first one took 1 year to sell 2 million copies, and this one has sold 2 million copies right out of the gate. So that is a big, big difference. It is definitely a milestone that's worthy of praise. And it's also something where I would like to look at, I know just today, actually, before I came on the stream, I saw that one of the biggest franchise games right now that just launched recently is called Marvel Rivals. Huge game, Everyone is streaming that game. All the competitive guys who used to play Call of Duty and etc. are overplaying Marvel Rivals, and they have been for months. That game is drawing in tons of money. Huge, huge, huge amounts of money. They just fired the game director and a whole bunch of people from the team at Marvel Rivals. Why? Because it's not making enough money for anybody. The investors want more. Everybody wants more. Greed, greed, and greed, which is a huge issue in the AAA space. It's not every AAA company, but it is a big issue with many AAA companies. And when you look at the other side of that coin, you have really deep, rich indie RPGs being created by teams like Warhorse with a much smaller team who aren't in that AAA corporate space, who are selling 2 million copies and loving every minute of it. Not only are they successful, they've made their budget back after the first million sales, which means they have now doubled their money after just this game being out for what, a week or so? It's been out a couple weeks. So huge shout out to the Warhorse Studios team for 2 million copies sold. I know we've been having a great time with this game. We're going to be continuing to have a great time with this game alongside, Avowed. And then we'll be continuing to play this throughout the rest of February into early March because we have a long road ahead of us because I'm still only like maybe halfway through the game. So I just wanted to say shout out to Toby and the Warhorse team and everybody on the marketing department for doing a good job at getting the word out there because 2 million copies sold is nothing to sneeze at. And there are thousands of people streaming this game, which is pretty phenomenal considering it's not your traditional fantasy RPG. So we're going to be continuing the stream from here on out, but if this is your first time watching one of my videos, this is getting clipped out on YouTube. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Daily streams at 6 a.m. Central on YouTube and Twitch because I multi-stream in both places. If you're watching right now, don't forget to be watching on Twitch as well as YouTube so that you can earn those fancy Twitch drops for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.